videos for late. I apologize for the delay and I apologize for the lateness. And, this is the second time I've done this to you guys, so I am sincerely sorry. I had a major family emergency that I had to take care of over the weekend. And the weekends is when I normally do these general monthly readings. So I apologize, but there was no way, as emotionally distraught as I was, I couldn't get the reading out to you. So I'm very, very sorry. Okay, my apologies. And I'm going to, let's go into your reading. Once again, I'm using the same spread. This is the 12 houses of natal astrology. And each sector of your life is going to be represented by one card, so we can talk about the energies and how they interact with each other. And so let's go into your reading. I feel like some of you, this is the first house here, Three of Swords. The first house represents the energy that you're bringing to the table, dealing with. I feel like some of you might be in a position where you are going to have to leave a partner or a situation behind, mainly because it was too emotionally taxing. So it could be physically, like a love relationship, a family relationship. There was something that came into the picture that activated a major sore spot for you guys. And I feel a lot of it has to do with, I do feel for some of you health issues. I do feel for some of you like emotional things that you might have repressed from the past. So I'm seeing some like recurring patterns here, which indicates like the last time something happened, which might have been years ago. I feel like 3 years ago even, and something is triggering it, and it might have been triggered back in the month of January. Aches for some of you. I see like your mobility is restricted somehow. I see body aches. I see like feeling like aches and pains, like general body aches. I'm seeing migraines for a very small minority of you, and I feel like surgery, recovering from something like a surgical procedure as well. This might have been going to permeate throughout the rest of this month, because I feel like you're getting some reprieve, you're getting away from it, and you're moving on to safer, okay? A lot of the times, this also indicates some news, some troublesome news that might also hit us on a very strong gut level. So that's what I'm sensing here. In terms of your second house of values and money, we have here the Magician. And the Magician is kind of like conjuring things out of thin air, having money grow for you. Some of you might have investment opportunities or even investment portfolios, and in some way you're able to find opportunities in which you can branch out and make money. And I feel some of you might be involved in like speaking engagements at universities, at social functions, professional functions. I do see a lot of speaking engagement where you're going to be in the public limelight, and I feel like you might be teaching a course, you might be teaching a seminar, you might be leading a focus group. You might also be in the publishing, and you're talking about the article or the book that you have recently released. So I feel like there's a lot of this is the public limelight card, and I feel like because of these appearances, because of these engagement, these speaking opportunities, I feel that you're getting compensated handsomely for them, okay? And then for others of you, you're thinking of ways to generate money for yourself through some type of innate skill or some type of an innate craft that you know how to do really well. So I feel for some of you, it deals with like arts and crafts, and for others, it deals with like writing, it deals with publishing, or even like speaking engagement. So I feel like money is not going to be a major problem for this year. I'm sorry, great card that signals you have a lot of control over your money. So you're making it work for you, you're investing it wisely, and you're researching as well, learning into new ideas, new avenues where you can generate money. This is a really very positive card, okay? In terms of your values, let's just say this, okay? The Magician is a very powerful card. And as it relates to your value system, make sure that you stand by your own truth, okay? A lot of the times we get ourselves into situations where, some people might feel like their values will change depending on the circumstances, or depending on their environment, or depending on the people that they're interacting with. But as a fire sign, I feel like a lot of the times you have these innate truths that you believe in, even though other people might believe otherwise. you will hang on to your truth and you will defend your truth. And I feel like this is sometime for this month, you're going to have to really broadcast or advertise whatever it is that you truly value, and you're going to be able to persuade other people to come to your side and to believe the same things that you believe in. So this is a very powerful card, and make sure that the what you really espouse, what you really preach, is what you also implement in your daily life. Okay, so your words dictate your actions, and so it's really important to be in alignment. Okay. So overall, still a very good card. Third house deals with siblings, and it also deals with childhood, like communication. I'm sorry, just communications overall, as well as siblings. And we have here the death card in the reverse position. So in terms of a sibling environment, like a sibling that you're dealing with, and for those of you who are without siblings, who might be the only child, you could disregard this and take the interpretation for communication, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. I feel like one of your siblings might have gone through a major, major, major cathartic experience. It was like a mind-blowing growth spurt that one of your siblings might have undergone recently. And I feel like some of you are just like, okay, it's sad that it happened, but I'm glad it happened because he or she needed to learn. And I feel like the lesson might have been a little bit overwhelming, might have been like almost too much. And so this person might feel like they're retreating. It's almost as if, they said they've learned something, but then once that experience is over with, they might revert back to their old self. And so the important thing here is to understand at a baseline level where the other person is. Maybe they're not ready for that new shift, for that new change. And so pushing them in that manner is not going to be, conducive for their growth and for their emotional well-being. And so I feel like while you want to nudge, you want to tell this person, you experienced it for a reason, learn from it. I feel that they're still in the process of emotionally sorting out everything that happened, because it seems almost as if a lot of things have happened within your family for that change, for that major transition. They might still be in the denial stage, and so it's really important for you to, practice loving detachment, be supportive, but don't push them too soon, because I feel like this is a situation that you might not have control over when you're dealing with another person, all right? In terms of your communication, with the death card in the reverse, it basically means that for you to not shy away from communicating in a way that you feel is appropriate. So communication deals with, the way that we behave and the way that we project ourselves, our needs, our thoughts into the world. With the death card, a major arcana card in the reverse position, it basically means that I feel almost as if, there might have been a painful exchange of words that happened too much. Did I, approach it the wrong way? And so you're cycling, you're like constantly churning, turning the event or replaying the event over and over and over again in your head, and you're thinking, did I make the best possible choice possible? Did I do everything in my power to steer the situation in the best possible manner to achieve the best outcome? So I feel like you're beating yourself up over something that was said, and or you had an opportunity to say something, but I feel like you might not have said it because you were afraid of hurting other people's feelings. You were afraid of kicking up, like opening a can of worms is what I'm feeling. So there's something here in your communication sector that needs to be revisited. And I feel like it's not so much what was communicated. It was more like, what did we want to communicate and what objective were we hoping for? What did we want to achieve by communicating that message? So I feel like there's a little bit of a gap there. So you want to really analyze, what was I hoping to achieve and how could I have said things differently? So there's some communication things, misunderstanding even, or even a situation that might have been beyond your control, I feel like you're kind of beating yourself up over it, or you're beating up over things that you should have said, but for whatever reason, didn't say in the heat of the moment. Okay, it's not bad. It's just coming up for reexamination. Okay, and once again, it's not about the message that was said. It's more like, what was I hoping to achieve? So don't beat yourself up over it, because it takes two. And I feel like if the moment has passed, whatever was not said, just let it go. Okay. Fourth house deals with the family environment. We have here the Ace of Wands, and I feel almost some of you might have shifted from a household. So I do feel this is kind of like looking for a new house, scoping the neighborhood, scoping the territory to see if there is a new place of living that's going to be offered to you, or that's going to be opening up, or that's going to be available. I see a change in the housing environment for some of you. You might be leaving sometime this month, living with another person, and then you're going to be shifting back. So it could be, short-term travel, long-term travel. For some of you, as it pertains to, the mother figure in the family environment, there might be property that is left to your name, and you're trying to decide what to do. And I have, some energies here in the eighth house, and the eighth house deals with joint finances. The eighth house also deals with inheritance. And I feel some upheaval within the family unit. And I feel like some of you are inheriting something, possibly a lot, like a plot of land, or even some housing situation. Okay. Let me see here. So let me just talk about your mother very quickly. There's a lot of healing energy that's coming through on the maternal front, okay? There's a lot of ideas, support, inspiration, as well as I'm seeing like emotional support and financial support, emotional support, and I'm also seeing like this is a person that's going to give you some great ideas. They're just mentioning some great ideas. It could be related to income generating ideas as well. And I feel for some of you, this person might be, the mother figure, especially for those of you who still are interacting with your mothers, or whose mothers are still alive. I'm sensing something regarding an inheritance. And so you might inherit something through the maternal line. And I'm also feeling some of you, you're inundated with some responsibilities already, and then I feel that you're helping out your mother in some way, and it's kind of like a lot of responsibilities between the two of you that you share. So I feel like the mother figure, the family unit, they're coming through heavily in this spread. Okay, so the fifth house deals with recreation. It also deals with creativity, children, and it's basically the types of people that you are interacting with, okay? Like you are socially dating or interacting with or going out with. And we have here the Ten of Wands. And this is a card about being burdened, being, I want to say like being inundated with a lot of responsibilities. This is also the card about moving as well. So, moving from one place to the other. You might be, in terms of like how you entertain yourself, you might be living out of a suitcase, traveling quite a bit for some of you. And Sagittarius love to travel. So I feel like this is a good message overall. And it seems like it's appropriate for your situation. So I feel almost as if you are doing massive amounts of travel, living out of a suitcase, hopping from place to place, hopping from plane to plane. And so I do want you to be a little bit careful when it comes to packing, not to leave things behind. And then for others of you, I feel like, if you are socially dating, the people that you're interacting with, they have a lot on their plate, so be very patient with them, okay? So for example, if they have to say, let's take a rain check, don't get offended, don't get defensive. They literally have a lot on their plate, so they're not able to accommodate, the dates and time that you agreed upon. So be a little bit more, just take them at face value, because I feel like they're inundated with a lot of chores. And then for a few of you, I feel like your social life is not so robust and thriving, mainly because you have a lot on your plate in terms of work and personal responsibilities, especially moving houses. Deals with health, work, as well as your daily routine. So we have here the Two of Wands in the reverse position. In terms of your health, it seems almost as if you're waiting on a decision of another person. So you might have gone in for a medical exam, you might have gone in for a dental exam, you might have gone in for some type of a health screening, and you're waiting on results. And I feel almost as if, some of you might be in a position where you might have recently had some type of surgery or some type of very recent injury, like back pain, knee pains is what I'm sensing. And you're waiting for that clean bill of health, okay? So it shows up in the reverse position. So I feel like there's going to be a little bit of a delay. But generally, I feel that you're getting good news. Just be careful not to wear yourself out, because I feel like a lot of the times you overexert yourself. You overestimate your physical limitations. So you want to be a little bit careful about if you are exercising even. I'm seeing a lot of people exercising, getting in shape, trying to improve their health as well. So I feel like you're going to start to see results for this month, okay? Like very strong results for this month. Routine, I'm not getting like any hits for routine, because I feel almost as if you're waiting on decisions. You're waiting on a lot of major important decisions, okay? So I'm sensing like that's the main theme that's coming through with this card. Now, in terms of your work environment as well, with the Two of Wands, it basically means, having two ideas running at the same time. So you might be thinking about, do I become self-employed or do I continue a 9 to 5? So I feel like you're choosing between two major decisions and you're waiting for a sign. It seems almost as if you're waiting for like divine timing. You're waiting for a sign from the divine so that you know how to make these decisions. So I'm sensing like you're hitting like a major crossroads in your work sector, and you're trying to decide, do I stay or do I go? Do I get another job and move closer to my home? That's closer to my home. Or do I continue at this job and commute? I'm also feeling for some of you, you're waiting on feedback as well when it comes to work. You might have applied like the past 2 months and you're waiting for some type of feedback, like interviews and, acceptance letters even, okay? Now, the seventh house we have here, the seventh house deals with relationships in love or in business. We have here the Six of Swords in the upright position. So this is a very good card that basically means, sailing over troubled waters. It can also indicate literally long distance travel with a significant other, like a spouse or even a partner. It can also indicate doing that with a business partner. But either way, I feel like if there has been harsh words that were exchanged between family members, and especially between a spouse or even a relationship partner, I do feel that you're going to be able to make up and you're going to be able to move in the same direction. So that means, peace treaty agreements so that two people can move ahead together, okay? This is a card about finding a safe haven. So I feel like if you have been in a relationship that might have been quite toxic or that made you feel unsafe, unloved, unappreciated in some way, I feel like you are going to be leaving it for good and you're moving away from it. It's almost like you're being divinely guided by higher powers to leave that environment. And once you leave it, you're going to feel this overwhelming sense of peace, and you're not going to be able to go back to it. Okay, so I feel like some final decisions is being reached here in your romance sector. And but either way, it looks to me to be something that's meant for you and it's better for you. All right. This is also, peace treaty. Agreeing to let bygones be bygones, water under the bridge, and just let things go. Now your eighth house, once again, this is I'm getting a very strong hit here for inheritance. I do see physical property coming through with this card for inheritance. I do see a plot of land. I do see a house. And I feel like it was a generational house, you know, like grandparents, parents, offsprings living under the same roof. And then I feel like, you know, the house now is being passed down between family members. So there might be some discussions regarding a property. And for others of you, you might have lost a property if you are sharing joint finances with another person, because I feel like the other person, for some reason, one person felt as if they contributed to purchasing the house or purchasing the property, and they feel that the other person is not deserving of it. So I feel like there is almost like they're saying like a loss of property. If you are sharing property with another person, I do feel like it's a situation where you feel like it might not have been fair, okay? Now, in terms of, let me see if there's anything else coming through for the 8th house. So joint finances, property is mainly what I'm sensing, okay? In terms of your this is 9th house. The 9th house deals with higher education, and it also deals with foreign travel. So in terms of higher education, a lot of you are in a position where you might be working collaboratively in a team environment or with a very dynamic team. So I do see a lot of people in the public speaking field, in the communications field, in the I see a lot of people giving PowerPoint presentations, and that image is coming through with the magician. So you're going to be working together as a unit. You're deciding on, you know, I present this part, you present this part, and the other person present that part, and so on. So I feel like you're in good hands. You're working very cooperatively together, and you're building something. I feel like big projects being built up from the ground up, okay? And also, for those of you who are working as well in an institution of higher learning, I feel that there's going to be a need for you to give a presentation, host a seminar, I'm sensing, or even like consult somebody as well. I'm seeing like consultation, consulting foreigners, consulting foreign firms associated with this card. I'm also seeing like a lot of you are physically traveling for work, dealing with a lot of foreigners, traveling for work, like traveling via airways, via waterways, in order to like plan out something, the construction of something, building something with a group of people that might be foreign to you, okay? So a very, very good card overall. I feel like you have a lot of responsibilities coming through for this month. I keep seeing an element of like time zone changes, okay? So make sure you get adequate sleep, okay? Because I feel almost as if with this card, it's a little bit of a disruption in your routine, where your time, you know, your biological clock, you know, not your rhythm, like your sleep cycle, your rhythm, it's a little bit out of sync, mainly because you might be traveling a lot. You're traveling across different time zones, where when you normally sleep, it would be like daytime in the other part of the world, so you're not able to get into a solid routine. So make sure you get enough sleep, okay, Sagittarius. And being a fire sign, you need to keep yourself very, very hydrated, because you tend to fever over as well. So just keep yourself very hydrated, and, you know, get proper sleep. I'm seeing somebody here needing like a cane, or needing to walk with like assistance, okay? So it is it's proving to be very good. And when I usually read the career house, the 10th house and the 9th house, they usually go hand in hand. And it's interesting that they both represent threes. And what I'm sensing here in terms of your career, achievement awards and things like that coming through in your 10th house, okay? Your public image is going to be very, very polished. You're going to be very well received. You're going to receive positive reception, as well as accolades for the work that you're doing, for the ways in which you are conducting yourself, as well as for the information that you bring into the world. So I feel like people will be highly receptive to what you have to say for this month. And I'm also sensing that many of you In terms of your career, there are a lot of gatherings, there are a lot of celebrations, there are a lot of like major achievements and milestones being reached for those of you in a career track, okay? So I do sense that this is a very, very good card, and they're telling you that the people that you're going to school with right now, especially for those of you who are in the professional school settings, such as law school, medical school, even graduate school, I feel like you're going to encounter the same groups of people. You could be, even in like enrolled in a therapy program, for example, psychology, whatever it is, graduate school, medical school, law school. I feel that the same people that you're working with now are going to be the same people that help you along on your professional track. So make sure you work cooperatively with them, okay? And so that they can be able to help you later on. So I feel like you're ending a major cycle. You'll be divisive. You're not the type of person that is contrarian, but I feel that the types of people that you go to school with, they're going to be vital as professional contacts for you later on in life. So don't burn any bridges, okay, Sagittarius? I don't feel it's a very cooperative card, so I don't see that. But just in case, okay, just keep steady, okay, Sagittarius. I'm going to talk about your father figure. Let me see if there's anything coming through for the father figure. What I'm getting as well is I'm sensing this, okay? You have a mother that is very, very devoted. That is like really very I'm sensing like, she devotes herself to the father, she devotes herself to the kids. She's very, very loving, very loyal, and very devoted. And I almost feel like you have a father that might be a little bit emotionally absent on the home front. And I feel like he is somebody that spends a lot of time at work even, and he spends a lot of time obsessing over and trying to polish up his professional image, okay? It's almost as if you might have a father that did a lot of damage control in his public image life, in his work life, in his professional life. And you might feel that he wasn't emotionally available when you were growing up. I'm also sensing for some of you that with the Three of Cups here, it basically indicates a situation where social expectations meant a lot to the father. So he might have, done things a specific way because that was what was socially acceptable. So he cared a little bit too much about, how other people perceive him. And he might not have acted in a way that was consistent with his values. So I feel like, he might have been the one that alter or manipulated his value system so that they fit the environment rather than holding true to his value. And so one of the major lessons, like I mentioned, this is the month in which you are building karma. Good or bad karma, that is entirely in your control and that is entirely up to you. And I feel like the big thing that you need to understand, Sagittarius, is that you are a truth seeker. And you value honesty, okay? You value integrity within yourself and within other people. And the moment that you start to realize you are compromising your values or you're compromising the things that you believe in order to cater to a crowd or in order to cater to your social expectations, that's when you're off track. So that's going to be a very important message for some of you who are in school or who are trying to establish a career and you're just like, I'm not sure if this is the right thing. So if you're ever confronted with an ethical dilemma, just get back to the fundamentals of, where do my values lie and why am I changing my values to fit this very specific situation? Because I feel like you are compromising a piece of yourself, okay? And that's when you're going to start to veer off track. And that's when we know that we are accumulating bad karma. So just keep that in mind, Sagittarius. You are rebuilding, and you are building good karma for this month and for the rest of this year and for the ongoing cycle in your life. So behave accordingly, okay? So Sagittarius, just behave accordingly, okay? In terms of your, oh, this is another problematic card here. Group associations and your friendships. We have the sneaky man, and this is somebody, once again, I'm getting a very similar energy here. So they're pretty much telling you that, some people are trying to um, change your ways, but I feel like it's not for the better, okay? I do sense some type of a flake out energy when it comes to friends, when it comes to people that you feel almost as if you could count on them, but you feel like they might not have been very honorable. And then I feel like there might have been falling out with friends. So you are coming to the realization that you need to really reassess your friends. And I feel like there might have been an incident where, so let me see here. Oh, it's actually linked up with this card. Excuse me. I feel almost as if there might have been an incident where you thought somebody was going to be there for you, and this is a friend. This is an arrangement that you made with a friend, and you thought they were going to be there for you, and you thought that they're going to do whatever they say they were going to do. And I feel there's a little bit of a flick out disappointment energy where they might have taken, they might have taken care of number one and kind of left you hanging. So I feel Sagittarius, it's time to comb through your friendship circle and try to weed out some elements that might not be honorable, or weed out people that you might not feel that are in alignment with you anymore, okay? The last card that we have as well is going to be, this is the 12th house deals with the house of secrets. And we have here the Queen of Cups. So just give me 1 second. So I'm going to see what this pertains to, okay? Because the 12th house, oh, actually, the 12th house and the 8th house are both very, very strong psychic houses. And I feel almost as if there might have been a passing away in your family, and as a result, there's an inheritance of a property. So that's what I'm feeling for some of you. It might be a water sign, so a Pisces, a Cancer, or a Scorpio. There might have been some health issues passing away, and there's a property that is left over here that's passed down through the maternal side of the family. It could also be paternal, but I'm not seeing that so much. It could also be paternal, actually, but I feel like there's a property that's left over. But let me just see. Like, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling alone, if you're feeling like somebody really hurt you, I feel that you're playing it off. It's almost as if you're not giving your feelings a voice. You're not allowing the opportunity to let it sink in. You're brushing it off. You're brushing aside your feelings. You're not taking the time to process it. And I feel like it can be, emotionally, it's not healthy to do that. And so really sit with your feelings. Whatever you're feeling, hurts, disappointment, betrayal, whatever it is that you're feeling, you need to give it a voice. You need to be able to vent to another person. You need to find a creative outlet in order to let out your feelings. And I'm sensing that some of you are holding everything in, and it's not healthy, okay? What I'm also feeling as well, so I pulled out 2 cards to clarify. In terms of the 12th house is kind of like things that are in your environment that you need to be aware of, okay? This is a person that holds a grudge, okay? If they feel jilted, if they feel slighted, if they feel betrayed, or if they feel, like they don't really go out and seek the answers, they just sit still with their fuming, like it's like somebody who holds a grudge. And so I feel for this month, they're telling you to release those grudges, because I feel that the other person, whoever it was that really hurt you, Sagittarius, I feel like they did it because they cared about themselves. And so if you're holding on to the grudges, you're only hurting yourself, because the other person is full well aware of what they were doing, okay? So release these grudges. There's no need to I guess like the negative self-talk, okay? There's no need to hang on to it. There's no need to feed into this, okay? So you're going to have to let some things go, and a lot of it is on the emotional front. And I feel like some of you, you're moving a lot through life. Like you're moving through life very, very quickly. You're like bouncing around. You're trying to find a home. You're trying to find stability in your life. You're inundated with a lot of responsibilities. You possibly could be moving as well. So I feel like this is a month that is really vital for you to sit down with yourself and take a break, take a breather, and process your feelings. I know I say that, but people don't understand. Processing your feelings means journaling, find whatever outlet it is in order for you to give a voice to what you're feeling rather than brushing it aside, because as a fire sign, you're not comfortable in the emotional realm. And when you're not comfortable dealing with emotions, it's easier to just brush it aside. And so they're really urging you, find a person that you can confide in. I feel like some of you are burying yourself in the work front, and you're choosing to forget. But I feel like it's something that is internal that you need to work through. So you need to find an outlet for it. Vent to somebody. Let somebody be honest, and just let people know how you feel, because hanging on to grudges will only hurt ourselves. So they're really telling you to release it, okay? And if you need to let it out, communicate with another person and let it out. So I apologize for this reading, Sagittarius. I really do. I feel some of you might have gone through quite a bit of an emitter. And once again, watch your sun sign, your rising sign, and then your moon sign, all right? So I'm going to use this card. This represents your seventh house, which is relationships and love and romance and things like that. So I'm going to leave it out so that we can segue and transition into the next part of your reading, which is love, romance, and relationships. You need I'm feeling like you want a vacation. You want to run away. You want to get away from it all. There's a lot of responsibilities on your plate, and you just want to find the peace and quiet. That's what it feels like to me. And all the cards just splashed out. So I feel like you are very inundated with a lot of responsibilities for this month. And I do feel, in a way, it's like mixed emotions as well, okay? You want to just retreat, and I feel like you don't really want to deal with people and their demands of you. So that's what it feels like to me. So all the cards just flew out. So Sagittarius, one of the things that I feel would be really helpful for you is if you did like some type of a physical activity, like sports, running, jogging, something to get your mind a little bit more active. They usually call it like disciplining the body via physical activity in order to discipline the mind, okay? In order to stop you from overthinking, overanalyzing, feeling too overwhelmed. And that's going to be something that's really good for you. I feel like you don't really have enough time to do that this month, but there's going to be that moment where you need to, start taking care of your emotional and mental health. And that means not suppressing things. That means leaving things out in the open so that you can address it, so that the wounds can heal, okay? So, love relationships for Sagittarius for February 2017. And now none of the cards are coming out. I see a lot of frustration as well, but I feel like it's minor, because when I mentioned like with fire signs, whenever you guys are upset, so you Leos and Aries, whenever you guys are upset, you blow up and then you get over it. So you're not typically a sign that holds grudges. However, I feel for some of you that has very strong water in your chart, like a Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio moon, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio rising. You might be a combination of like, an air, water and fire. I feel like you might hold some grudges. And so they're telling you that, because those elements are in opposition to one another, it's the energy is it's a little bit more challenging to deal with. Okay, on the one hand, emotionally you feel a specific way. On the other hand, physically you feel a specific way, and so you're kind of like working at cross purposes with yourself, and you're not really sure what you need to do. So you might oscillate between two extreme ends of the spectrum. The Sagittarius freedom loving side, where you forgive and you're very flamboyant and you're very optimistic and bouncy. And then you might go through time periods where you revert back to that water energy, where you might hold grudges. You might not be able to let things go. You might dwell needlessly on certain things that you're not happy with. And so it's really difficult, especially if you have like, water and a lot of, and water and fire in your chart. The emotional expression seems to be very intense, and it also sways between one extreme to the other. So emotional moderation is something that is needed, okay? So processing your feelings rather than processing your feelings through more of an intellectual lens is going to be better than through an emotional lens. Okay, so talking to a therapist is a way in which you can process your feelings through a rational lens, and that means getting a third party involved, a neutral third party, so that you can have a discourse with them and understand your intentions and your motives. So that's what I'm sensing here. Let's go into your reading. Actually, I need another card, so sorry. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about this card first. And this is pretty much indicative of leaving the past behind you. Whatever it was in the past that was not working, that might have been hurtful, that might have been quite scary. I feel like whatever that situation was, you have learned a lot from it. The swords on the boat, they signify knowledge, insight, and wisdom. And they signify that, there are only 6 of them. So you're still learning, you're still accumulating new skills, new knowledge. And I feel that, everything that ended in the past, it signify an ending of a cycle. You're taking all the things, all the lessons that you learned from that cycle so that you can move on and use those lessons in order to help you with the new lessons in the new cycle. So this is a very progressive card. It basically indicates that you're growing, you're moving on, you're letting water under the bridge, and you're just, sailing away from it, okay? And a lot of times this is a very spiritual card, because I think of the person that I'm reading for, which is you, Sagittarius. I think of the person as the woman, and I think of the man as more of a spiritual entity. Somebody is guiding you. Somebody is making sure that you're safe. And they literally might be spiritual, like guidance, spirit guides that are giving you ways to cope. Or they can be people, physical people divinely guided into your life so that they can help you steer away from a very troublesome situation, okay? I do see for some of you, there might be some, in relationships, there might be some arguments, disputes over custody with the child, okay? So like, I feel like you're reaching that point where you are both agreeing. We both want what's best for the child. And you're finally coming to terms with that the other person is not working against you. Everybody wants what's best for the child. The way that they express it comes out in a power struggle, comes out in an ego conflict. But ultimately, people are on the same team, okay? Let me talk about what's in your present situation. Okay, Sagittarius. I have here the Ten of Wands. This is basically feeling very, very inundated, having a lot of responsibilities on your plate. having to go to work and then go home and be the homemaker too. And even for the male Sagittarians out there, having to go to work and then, go home and have to take care of the kids, have to take care of the domestic responsibilities. So I feel a lot of responsibilities are piling on you for those who are in a home environment with a significant other, or, just by yourself, there's a lot of responsibilities. I feel almost as if the responsibilities, the work, the stress, and the strain of the external environment of your work, or even your family environment, or even, just the everything that you're dealing with right now, it's affecting your love relationship, okay? And additionally, I feel like your relationship might have been also very, very one-sided, where one person took care of everything. One person might be a homemaker, and the other person is like the main bread winner. And so there are imbalances within the relationship. It feels almost as if one person is doing all the work, and the other person is not reciprocating. And I feel like um, I'm also sensing that. I'm also sensing for those of you who are kind of like your work life is getting out of control, be very, very careful and, try to reconnect with your partner. Try not to let the relationship become affected by your work situation, okay? I just feel a lot of responsibilities, and I feel like some of you might be in a relationship where there isn't a lot of love left over. It just seems like you're staying together for the kids. It just seems like you're staying together because of responsibilities, okay, obligations, and you feel almost as if you were to leave, you wouldn't be able to manage everything on your own. So it's indicative of fear. And so I feel like, this is not a happy home, happy place for you to be, okay? So that's what I'm sensing, and I apologize once again, Sagittarius. In the past position, we have here the Knight of Coins as well as the Two of Swords. We have an earth sign that some of you are dealing with. And this is shown up here as a Sagittarius. I'm sorry, not a Sagittarius. A Virgo, a Taurus, or a Capricorn that you Sagittarius are dealing with. And this person is somebody, I feel like they renege on their responsibilities. And I feel almost as if they're not making a lot of money in order to be. It seems almost as if the responsibilities are very one-sided again. It's like they make promises they can't keep, and it's almost like they might feel almost as if they're a victim of their circumstance. They might also evade responsibilities. So I feel like you're dealing with somebody that is not holding up their end of the bargain. And it might not even be an earth sign. It's just somebody that is very, very slow to act. They want you to take the initiative. And then over time, because you have always taken the initiative, they just sit back and they don't really do anything to move things along or to help out. It might not even be an earth sign. It's just an energy of a person that you're dealing with where one person does all the work and the other person just sits back. The other person is a little bit passive aggressive and they don't really contribute. And so I feel almost as if a big part of you is aware of the dynamics within the relationship. Some of you are trying to decide what to do because I feel like justice and morality and, moral integrity, these are important values that you really, really hold in high regards. And when a relationship is problematic like this, some of you might go two ways. I feel like the first is that you might be in denial, okay? And I feel like you might make excuses for the other person. You might make concessions for the other person. And then the other group of you, you're kind of like, okay, I'm seeing finally what I'm trying to see, or what I'm supposed to see. So her third eye is activated. And I feel like this person might have been a little bit sneaky in the way that they do things. But I feel like you're starting to see them in their, you're starting to see the truth in Technicolor. And when the truth comes at you in Technicolor, it's really hard to deny the truth. So I feel like that's what's happening in this situation. Foundation is something you're bringing to the environment with. We have here the Strength card, and the Strength card basically means that you have a relationship where two people are very, very different, okay? Yes, there might have been very strong chemistry, physical attraction, but I feel like it's almost like two species, okay? Two species that do not work well together, and one species is actually afraid of the other. So in a positive manifestation of this card, it basically means there's a lot of attraction. There's a lot of chemistry. There are differences, but you both can work together as a unit because there is a lot of trust in one another. We have as well the Empress, which basically indicates like responsibilities, the maternal role. So there might be some third party interference, which indicates, the mother of the child, the father of the child, somebody interfering and placing a lot of responsibilities upon you that you need to pick up. And so it's really difficult for you to have a relationship with a new person when there's still lingering attachments with an ex via children or via whatever, the circumstance might be. Some of you, there's still attachments like emotional attachments or even physical attachments with an ex-partner because of this very, very strong sense of chemistry, but there's innate incompatibility. There might also be disputes over child rearing techniques, child rearing practices, okay? What's coming through and the things that you are thinking about, we have here the Fool, and I feel like some of you just want to retreat. You just want to like drop all of your responsibilities. I feel like you're going to be a little bit overwhelmed this month. You just want to just take off and do what you want to do, like independent of other people. So I feel like there's a daydreamy type of energy about you where you just want to take off. You just want to like, follow somebody else. I feel for some of you, you might have a fire sign that you're thinking about. So a Sagittarius, an Aries, or a Leo that you are very much fascinated by. And it almost seems to me as if you're thinking heavily about this person. You're thinking about the life that you could have had or the life that you should have with this person. And so you're planning some type of retreat. You're planning some type of escape. You're planning to follow this person. So I feel like they might be the one that is, that you have a lot of chemistry with and attraction with. But there is something here about either they might have children or they might not want to have children, and so you don't see how things are going to come to fruition long term. So you have another fire sign in your environment that you're very much fascinated by, and you want to go off with this person. But I feel like this person, they're quite adventurous. They're quite I want to say like they're quite exotic is a word that comes to mind. And you might just want to follow them to the end of the earth. So I feel like you're chasing after somebody or somebody's chasing after you, and you're not really sure whether or not it's appropriate anymore, but there's still like this fascination about with another person, okay? And you just want to get away with them. You just want to like sail away and not have to worry about other responsibilities. What's coming through for you guys here? We do have the Four of Wands as well as the Queen of Swords. So this is a person you're going to be dealing heavily with for this month. The person shows up here as an air sign, an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. And I feel like this person might have been like a divorcee. They might have had come from a broken home. They might have broken off an engagement, or it's somebody to that effect. And I feel like if you're looking for love, and you're, single, I do sense that this is a person that can, they understand where you're coming from. So there's a lot of compatibility. So this is an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. So I feel like you have a fire sign, another fire sign, and also an air sign in your midst for those of you who are single and looking. But I do sense that some of you have already, come into the picture with somebody that you are very sexually attracted to. And I also feel as if it's kind of hard for you both to see a future together because you might be very different. So on the one hand, there's physical attraction. But on the other hand, two people might not want the same things. I feel like one person doesn't want to be a mother or a father, and then the other person might have had like a divorce experience under the belt already, so they're not too anxious about, jumping into a new relationship, okay? So Sagittarius, for those who are in coupled relationships, really focus on your partner this month, okay? It's going to be vital for you. I do wish you the best. I apologize for a little bit of a grim reading, but you are very strong people. And Saturn's hitting you hard, I feel, especially maybe January. I also have my moon in Sagittarius, so I know that the process has been very hard. Just imagine Saturn transiting the moon. And so I feel almost as if this month you have grown through like you have overcome a major growth spurt, and you're starting a brand new phase. And I mentioned earlier too, and that message is really powerful, where I feel like you are creating new karma, okay? What you choose to create, it is up to you. So do the right thing, make the right decisions, choose the right choice, okay? And you are a very, very ethical sign. So given a situation where you don't have any external constraints, you always aim to do the right thing, I feel, because you're very moral, and you're very your moral compass is strongly aligned with the divine. So that means every time you're confronted with a decision, and it might be a bad decision, there's always that nagging voice in your head steering you away from it. Listen to it, okay? This is a month that's going to be a little bit trying, a little bit testing, and it's really important for you to have an outlet so that you can vent, okay? So I would highly recommend, for those of you who are dealing with some internal issues that you need to sort out, see a therapist, see a counselor, see a religious leader like a pastor if you need to. Reach out to your family. You have a lot of support, okay? And I do wish you the best, Sagittarius. I left you guys last month, and then this month is late, so I really am apologetic, okay? Saturn's hitting me hard as well. So I wish you the best. Take care of yourself, Sagittarius. Bye-bye.